Members of the House, please be seated.
Will the House come to order, Mr. Clerk?
Aloha and good evening. Today's invocation will be delivered by Representative Amy A. Peruso. Will the members who wish to participate please rise?
Please be seated. Happy Aloha Friday. Over the course of the last two sessions, I really enjoyed listening to these daily invocations by members. They remind me that the beauty of this body arises from its diversity of cultural backgrounds, religious beliefs, and wide-ranging worldviews. What binds us, unites us, and grounds us in our work as legislators is our common oath to our Constitution and the principle of aloha that animates it. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that on Aloha Friday. In 1839, many of you know that King Kamehameha III issued a Declaration of Rights, which recognized that the government, the chiefs, and the maka'ainana all held vested interests in the Aina and declared protection of these rights and interests and the right to life, limb, liberty, and freedom from oppression. 1 year later, on October 8, 1840, the Mo'i voluntarily relinquished his absolute powers by promulgating a constitution that recognized three divisions of a constitutional monarchy, with executive, legislative, and judicial powers, to protect the rights that already declared in 1839. This was a rare moment in history when a governmental structure was democratized from above, with an absolute monarch acknowledging and seeking to secure the inherent rights and power of the less socially, economically, and politically privileged without being forced to do so. There was no rebellion, no insurrection, and no revolution from below that led the Mo'i to these actions. He acted simply out of true, deep aloha for his people. The Hawaii has since been through much political change. King Kamehameha III's radical act laid the foundation for the political values that continue to shape our work today in the legislature. We as legislators can honor and learn from this legacy by sharing power, resources, and access freely and willingly, because we also understand that the polity, the community, is stronger when we act with aloha. Mahalo.
Thank you, Representative Peruso. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Aquino, Ms. Bellotti, Mr. Bronco, Ms. Clark, Ms. Costales, Ms. Eli, Mr. Ganadin, Mr. Gates, Ms. Har, Mr. Hashem, Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Holt, Ms. Ichiyama, Mr. Iligan, Mr. Johansson, Ms. Capella, Ms. Kitagawa, Mr. Bertrand Kobayashi, Mr. Dale Kobayashi, Mr. Kong, Mr. Lopresti, Ms. Lowen, Ms. Luke, Ms. Martin, Mr. Matayoshi, Ms. Matsumoto, Mr. McDermott,
Excused.
Mr. McKelvey, Mr. Mizuno, Ms. Morikawa, Ms. Nakamura, Mr. Nakashima, Mr. Nishimoto, Mr. Ono,
Excused.
Ms. Okimoto, Mr. Onishi, Ms. Peruso, Mr. Quinlan, Mr. Sayama, Mr. Takayama, Mr. Takumi, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tarnas, Mr. Todd, Mr. Tokioka, Mr. Ward, Ms. Wildberger, Mr. Woodson, Mr. Yamane, Mr. Yamashita, Mr. Speaker.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 49 members are present, 2 are excused.
All right, members, our item 2, reading of the Journal, Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, may this matter be deferred.
So ordered. Item 3, Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the Governor?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
Item 4, Mr. Clerk, are there any Senate communications?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, if you and the members will turn your attention to the addendum to today's order of the day. We are in receipt of communications returning the noted House concurrent resolutions, all having been adopted in the Senate. We are in further receipt of a communication informing the House that the Senate has reconsidered action in disagreeing to the amendments proposed by the House, has moved to agree, and pass the noted Senate bills on final reading. Additionally, we are in receipt of communications informing the House that the Senate has made changes to conferees to the noted House and Senate bills.
Okay, members, are there any introductions this evening? Representative Iligan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With great pleasure, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the 70th Cherry Blossom Festival Court and their guests. The Cherry Blossom Festival is one of the oldest ethnic celebrations in Hawaii, and each year, its court contributes to a variety of community service projects around the state and abroad, promoting Japanese culture. Sherry Nishijima, in particular, has served the state previously as my office manager, and she continues to serve the state in her new capacity as queen. If you could please stand when I call your name. Sherry Morishige, the Honolulu Japanese Junior Chamber of Commerce Executive Vice President. Christy Meishiro Takiguchi, and Ruth Takeda, the Cherry Blossom Festival General Co-Chairs. Ashley Higa, the Cherry Blossom Festival Court Advisor. Miss Congeniality, Danielle Au. Miss Popularity, Terry Lynn Mainin. Miss Popularity, Princess Tamlin Sasaki. Princess Jordan Valdez. And Queen Sherry Nishijima and her guests, Kahel Burns, Alyssa Oyeda, and Christian Luke. Welcome to your House of Representatives. And Mr. Speaker, could you please insert the name into the journal?
So ordered. Representative Branco.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Many of you folks have met my very large Hawaiian family, but I have yet to have the opportunity to introduce my mother, actually. So my mother, Edwina Branco, is here, and she's accompanied by my dad, Patrick Branco. Welcome to your House of Representatives.
Representative Ganadin.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to introduce 2 of my friends here from the Gila River Indian community, Anthony Sabori and Molly Kukbak. I met them visiting about 1,100 citizens who are on their ancestral lands. So thank you so much for coming to visit us today.
Representative Tam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the gallery today, alongside with the representative from Puno, I would like to introduce our better halves, Mr. Anthony Sanchez and Ms. Nikki Watts. And accompanying them is Mr. Rodney McGarry. Welcome to your House of Representatives.
Representative McKelvey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, too, am joined by somebody special in the gallery today who's on her cell phone, my lovely wife, Val McKelvey. Please rise and be recognized and embarrassed by your House of Representatives.
Representative Luke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the gallery, it's my dear friend Debbie Cheeseman, accompanied by Taylor Date, Office Manager for Representative Nishimoto.
Are there further introductions, members? Okay, if not, we're on item 5, reports of conference committees Members, please note the 48-hour notice for Conference Committee Report numbers 68 through 22 through 92-22. For item 6, members, we will be deferring one legislative day, all of the measures that are on pages 8 through 11. So we're now on item 7. Again, please note the 24-hour notice for Special Committee Report number 1-22. So at this point, members, could you please refer to your digital action sheets? We'll be taking up 2 motions. The first is to suspend the rules to reconsider our previous action in disagreeing to the Senate amendments, and the second to reconsider our previous action and give notice of the intent to agree. For the motion to suspend, Representative Bellotti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to suspend the rules of the House to reconsider action previously taken in disagreeing to amendments made by the Senate to certain House bills.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Is there any, all those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. For the motion to reconsider, Representative Bellotti.
Mr. Speaker, I move to reconsider action previously taken in disagreeing to the amendments made by the Senate and to give notice of the intent to agree to the amendments to House Bill number 1575, House Draft 2, as referenced on your digital action sheet.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All right, if there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. Members, this measure will appear on Tuesday's order of the day for a final reading vote. We are now on item 8, announcements. Are there any announcements, members? Any announcements? If not, we will take up 2 motions. First, to open the journal. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move to keep the journal open until midnight for the purpose of receiving conference committee reports and accompanying drafts.
Representative Matsumoto.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. For the motion to recess, Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand in recess until 9:00 a.m. Tuesday.
Representative Matsumoto.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. The House stands in recess until 9 a.m. Tuesday. Recess.